Hi everyone, my name is Praveen Mali and you are watching OpenShift 4 Authentication series. If you have not watched the previous videos, the link is in the description. Please watch the introduction video which tells you how you can set up your environment for hands-on practice. Let's continue with today's video, which is on point number 3, that is IDP configuration for STPassWD. Today we are going to do some hands-on, so make sure you already have your setup ready as mentioned in my previous videos. While doing hands-on, whenever you need, pause the video and do the steps along with me. Let me know in comments if you have any queries. Let's go through the steps that we are going to follow for STPassWD. Step number 1. Create an STPassWD file. To use this command, make sure you have already installed the httpd-tools package for Fedora, CentOS, RHEL operating system. If you are using Ubuntu Linux Mint operating system, then install Apache 2 package. Let's look at the command now. STPassWD is the command that we are going to use with the arguments -c, which is for creating the password file. Then capital B, which is used for bcrypt encryption for password. That means passwords are not stored in the plain text. B is used for batch mode, that is, get the password from the command line rather than prompting for it. Next is path to STPassWD file. This is the file in which we are going to store our usernames and encrypted password. Next is the username and password that we want to use and will be stored in the STPassWD file. Now let's move to our CLI and create the STPassWD file with the user details. First, let me start my CRC container. Rather than actually I am setting up my CRC container over here. To run this, I have just executed CRC setup command. To start my CRC VM, I will execute CRC start. So it may take some time depending upon laptop speed. So now you can see over here my CodeReady container VM for OpenShift 4.6.15 is starting up. So once this is completed, I will come back to you. Okay, now my CRC container is already started. You can see here I am getting some kind of warning, but you can ignore that. So you can see it gives instruction saying that you need to first run crc-oc-env. So I have already ran it and exported the OC path. Okay, then you will get the OC login details over here for the developer users, and here you can get the login details for the kubeadmin users. So make sure you copy this somewhere. Okay. So now here I have already ran the OC login with the kubeadmin, and you can see that I am already logged into my server. So just let me check on which version we are. OC get cluster version. So you can see that I'm using cluster version 4.6.15. So let's continue with our STPassWD thing. Here is the command STPassWD -c for creating a file, capital B for bcrypt encryption, -b for the batch mode. Now here on this particular folder I want to create my STPassWD file, so I am just writing STPassWD over here. If you want to save somewhere else, like in a TMP folder, you can write as a /tmp STPassWD. Okay, but as I am creating this file in the same folder, I am just writing STPassWD. So after that it comes my username, that is a geeksurf, and I am giving my password over here, that is a geeksurf. So make sure you are giving very strong password over here. Okay, so here message says that adding password for user geeksurf. Let me check if the STPassWD file is created. Okay, in the same folder htpasswd file is created. Let's check what's in it. Okay, here you can see that Geeksurf's user is created, but the password is encrypted. Right? Now, as we see how to create a htpasswd file, let's check how the secret is created. And here is the step 2, create OCP secret, and the command is OCP create secret generic htpass secret from file equal to htpasswd path to htpasswd file -n OpenShift conf. Here we are mentioning the htpasswd file which we just created and the path where we saved that htpasswd file. -n is the namespace in which a secret is created. Please note that the secret key containing the user's file for the from file argument must be named htpasswd. It should not be like htpasswd1 or htpasswd user1 or my htpasswd. It should be htpasswd only. Now let's move to our CLI and create the htpass secret. Okay, let's create a secret over here. Here is the command OC create secret generic htpass secret from file equal to htpasswd -n OpenShift config. Let me check once. OC create secret generic htpass secret from file htpasswd is my file name -n OpenShift config. Okay, here you can see that secret htpass secret is created. Let's still confirm if you can see the secret over here. OC get secret -n OpenShift config. Okay, here you can see that htpass secret is created. Let's move to our presentation. Step 3 is to define the htpasswd resource. We have already seen the configuration in the introduction video. Let's go through it quickly. In the spec part, we do define our identity providers. Here, our IDP name is htpasswd-idp and the mapping method is claim. In the htpasswd section, we are defining the htpass secret which we have created. Now let's move to our CLI and configure the htpasswd IDP and apply configuration. Let me show you how you can edit OAuth configuration. Here is the command OC edit OAuth. Okay, just scroll down. Okay, here you can see the spec configuration file. Just to save time, I have already added the configuration in the spec portion. Please pause the video and configure your environment with the same details. Once the OAuth configuration is modified, OAuth pods are recreated and old pods are terminated. You can check the status here with the command ocget pods -n OpenShift authentication. You can see the command over here ocget pods -n OpenShift authentication. Right now let me just run it. Okay, right now it's showing in the running state as we have not saved the changes in the configuration. Okay, let me watch the pod status while saving the configuration. You can see the pod status changes in it. Let me just make it watch. Okay, let me now save the configuration. Okay, just make sure to watch this window. Okay, you can see the pod status. Okay, now I have saved the configuration for the OAuth cluster. Now you can see that the old pod status are changing. Now the new pods are creating over here and old pods are terminating. Okay. You can see the pod status changes, right? Make sure all the pods should be in the running state before trying to log in for any user. So I'm just waiting for all the pods to be in the running state. Okay, if you try to log in while the status is in terminating status, you may get the error like 500 internal server error. So to avoid that error, just wait for a few minutes to make all the pods in running state. Now you can see that pods are in running state. We can just stop that. Okay, now we have seen that all the pods are running state and the OAuth configuration is in already configured. Okay, just make sure the authentication operator is in running state and it should not be in a degraded state. To see the details of the authentication operator, you can run the OC-get cluster operator authentication command. Okay, you can see that authentication operator available is true and degraded is false. If you wanted to see detailed information for this operator with the same command, you can just use the -OYML. Okay, let me just make it more visible. Okay, you can see that the details over here. Status is showing as expected, false is degraded. If there are any error, you can see the error over here. So this is how you can see the detailed information for the cluster authentication operator. Okay, now we can test the login with the GeekSurf user. Here is the command: oc login -u username, that is GeekSurf, -p is the password, that is again GeekSurf. Okay, now you can see that with the GeekSurf user we are able to log in successfully, right? Let me just switch to the kubeadmin user. Okay, let me just copy that kubeadmin details over here. Copy. Okay, now I'm switching to the kubeadmin user. Okay, now you can see that with the kubeadmin user I can able to log in successfully. Now to get the user details, you can run oc-get user command. So here you can see that the GeekSurf user details. This is what the username, and it shows that with the identity stpasswd IDP it's logged in. Even you can see the details for the identity as well. The command is oc-get identity. Okay. Here you can see that identity name is stpasswd IDP, IDP name is stpasswd IDP, IDP username is GeekSurf username, and the user ID. Let's move to our presentation now. Now we are able to successfully configure the stpasswd IDP and able to log in with the user. Let's check how you can add and remove users from stpasswd file. To add user, here is a simple command: stpasswd -b capital B path to stpasswd file, username and password. And to remove user, you can use command as stpasswd capital D path to stpasswd file and username. Once you modify the stpasswd file, make sure you update the stpass-secret with the command oc-create secret generic stpass-secret -- -from-file equal to stpasswd equal to path to stpasswd file --dry run equal to client -o yaml -n OpenShift config and oc replace -f. If you have removed an existing user, in our example GeekSurf, you need to remove existing resources for that user. So you can delete user objects with the command oc delete user username, and you can delete identity with the command oc delete identity name. Now let's move to our CLI and run these commands for better understanding. Let's start adding new user. Here is the command stpasswd -v capital B stpasswd, username is tech, password is tech. Here you can see that user tech is added in the file. Let's confirm that stpasswd. Okay, here you can see that user tech is added in the stpasswd file. Okay, now let's remove our GeekSurf user. Okay, so here is a command stpasswd -G stpasswd GeekSurf. Yeah, here you can see that the user GeekSurf is already deleted. Let's check our stpasswd file. Okay, even file shows that the GeekSurf user is already removed from it. Okay, as we have already modified the stpasswd file, let's update the stpass secret. Let me copy this command and execute it. Okay, here you can see that secret stpass -secret is replaced. Here we have already removed the GeekSurf from the stpasswd file. Let's remove resources for that user. First, we'll get the user details over here. Also get user. Here we can see that the details for the GeekSurf user. So just remove that user. OC delete user GeekSurf. Okay, now the GeekSurf user is deleted. Now we need to delete the identity. So OC delete identity and the identity name, which is this. Okay, now you can see that even identity is removed. With this, we have completely removed user from the secret and from the environment. Let's see. Okay. User. We can see that the developer user is available in the environment and GeekSurf is completely removed. Now let's check our lookup mapping method in the OAuth configuration. So what lookup is? Lookup does not create users in the environment on login. It just searches for already mapped users in it. Here we already deleted the GeekSurf user, so there is no GeekSurf user mapped with any identity. So it should throw an error on login. Let's modify our OAuth configuration and try to log in with the user. OC edit OAuth. Just scroll down and just change the mapping method claim to lookup. Save and exit. Just keep an eye over here in the tab. The OAuth pod's status will change. Okay, now the new pod is creating. Okay, the old pod is terminating. Now another new pod is creating. So just wait for a few minutes to both the pods should be in running state and all the terminating pods removed from this OpenShift namespace. Okay, so in meantime we'll just try to log in. Okay, it's removing. So now let's log in with our GeekSurf user and see if we can able to log in. Let's see. Login -u GeekSurf -p GeekSurf. Okay, here is the error on login. The reason is behind the lookup mapping method, which searches for the already mapped users in it, but we already removed the GeekSurf user from the environment. There is no map entry for it. That's the reason we are getting the login failed error over here. Hope you understand the lookup mapping now. With this point we conclude this video. See you in the next video to learn more about Google IDP configuration. Thank you.